retrogrades in your chart. Something just clicked with me regarding retrogrades and how they express in real life. One thing about retrogrades is I say that that planet, if you have a planet retrograde, that planet's faculties and whatever that planet rules is turned inside out in your life. But I noticed, like Jupiter retrograde people, you guys do the Jupiter in the Mercury. You see what I'm saying? You guys are really preachy in conversation. I know a few Jupiter retrogrades, and I'm like, why don't you teach? Why don't you get online? Because I sit in the conversation and I'm fascinated, I'm floored, I'm taking notes because you are an amazing teacher. But then you tell them that, they're like, oh my God, am I? Really? You put them in a pulpit and watch them shrink themselves. My Mercury is retrograde. Small talk is cute, but let me go preach, okay? People want me to be the preacher in conversation, and I'll be like, leave me alone. Don't ask me a whole bunch of astrology questions, a whole bunch of numerology questions. I've told people, leave me and my mind alone. This can be two-sided, but I don't like being the Sagittarius all the time. Uranus retrograde. You got all the friends in the world. You're an amazing friend. You're a really good friend. You give the shirt off your back, but you never feel like you get it in return. You never know if somebody's your friend. You never feel like anybody's your friend. But you're always being friendly. Friendship sits on the outside of you. Friendship and humanitarianism sits on the outside of you, but for some reason, and sometimes it's valid, sometimes it's not, but you feel like you never get that back. That's deep. Pluto retrograde. Mars retrograde, it makes you more Venusian. Venus retrograde makes you more Martian, but oh my God, I'm just putting all this together. My dad is Venus retrograde. You think that man wants to mediate situations. He comes off like, everybody loves my dad. He's a Libra rising. Okay, so Venus rules his rising. But his Venus retrograde, he ain't mediating shit. When I cussed my cousin out at the dinner table in front of everybody, he was about to go upstairs, okay? A Mars retrograde person, somebody will be always ready to fight them, but then they'll get Venusian, like I said. They don't want no smoke, and I realize why we carry these energies. Mars retrograde, you're meant to be a leader. But if your Mars was direct, you would do too much. You would do too much. Your energy does it for you, and you see what your energy does for you. So I know a lot of Mars retrograde people who try to scale that back. But I know negative Mars retrograde people, oh my God, conflict everywhere. I'm going to do a video about the positives and negatives of retrogrades. But Mars retrograde negatively, either you can't lead yourself, you can't stand up for yourself, or you're always fighting everything, everywhere. And I know some Mars retrograde who had that negative expression of it, but generally it makes you a bit more of a new. And Venus is not power struggles. Venus is rivalries. A lot of Mars retrograde people have a lot of rivalries within their family when they express that negatively. But like just at its root, you have a lot of fight energy. And then you know what? I see how a negative expression of Mars can come about because maybe all your life, or a negative expression of Mars retrograde can come about because all your life, people have been trying to fight you, so you've been conditioned to fight. I'm putting all this together right now. I see how similar Jupiter and Mercury retrograde are. Both of us are meant to announce, whistleblow, and to preach, but I see how we do that in different ways. Jupiter retrograde, you will do that in conversation, and people will hear you and be like, oh my God, you should preach and teach. With Mercury retrograde, I won't say a damn thing in conversation, but people see me preaching and teaching all the time on TikTok, and they think they're going to get that in conversation. I'm like, baby, no, I get tired of that. It's so automatic for me to do it that in conversation, I'm quiet. I want to take in a little bit. Jupiter retrograde, you do it so much. That's so deep. You do it so much in conversation. You don't do it in the pulpit or where you're supposed to all the time. But that's why Jupiter retrograde people can be real preachy, and negatively you get preachy, annoying, and didactic because somebody's like, go find a pulpit, man, to preach all that stuff. Mars retrograde, you have incredible fight energy, and that provokes people to fight you, and then as soon as they're about to fight you, you get all Libra and Venusian. Saturn retrograde, everybody comes to you to parent them. You attract irresponsible people. You're always an example of responsibility, yet you never feel it. It's like you're a manager in your personal life, but then being CEO and having something to manage actually scares you because you don't feel like you're ever good enough to do it when you're actually the perfect person to do it. I've learned retrogrades are accountability. Retrogrades put the energy on the outside of your life, but retrogrades also give you not a limit, but it emanates that energy for you. Like I was talking to a Mars retrograde, but she has a Libra moon. She's like, I walk in rooms and people just start to stand back and be quiet. And she's like, then I look dumb because I'm going, no, don't do that. I said, no, baby, yes. You need that. Think about your endeavors. You need that level of authority, but you also need the humility behind it. Baby, Neptune retrograde, everybody is always crying around you, letting it go around you, but baby, cry for yourself every once in a while. That's difficult. For you to sink into that emotion for yourself when you need to, the universe has to fight you. And I know a Neptune retrograde. I fucking love Neptune retrograde because y'all walk into a space and y'all throw paint on the invisible suits. You eviscerate everything. And what I notice is people think y'all are some. Wait, let me tell you. I know a Neptune retrograde who sat at the table with somebody, and that somebody started crying because that's what Neptune retrograde does. The Neptune retrograde rolled their eyes, said "fuck this," and got up and left. Because they were sick of that because it happens all their lives. But Neptune retrograde can be insanely insensitive sometimes. Pluto retrograde, you're way more Venusian in the positive expression. Now, the negative expression, that's why people need to understand there are archetypes. There are several different positives and several different negatives. But Pluto retrograde positively, you channel Venus. And I'm like that. Baby, I don't have nothing to hide. I'm not investigating you. If it comes out, it comes out. I'm not walking around with these low beady eyes trying to protect you. I talk about it all the time, protecting yourself, acting like there's so many more threats in the world than there really are. I don't have time for that. I'm not that, but that triggers people who are like that. I walk into a room. I've even had people come back to me and tell me that my level of composure fucks them up. It's kind of why I do what I do, why I'm in the position in this generation of people who are so scared and obsessed with protection and, you know, you can't trust nobody. I'm meant to break that because I break it in any space I enter. But then it gets projected onto me. But baby, the way people will treat me like the deepest crevice on Pluto, like, what? It'll be like this. I don't have anything to hide. And they're looking at me. Yes, you do. Why? Okay, gotta go. I'm an Aquarius 8th house. I detached from Pluto. That's the Pluto ruled house, okay? Or I'll be talking to somebody and they'll be acting like I'm some type of investigator, and then I'll end it. And then they'll come back and like, well, no, I'm sorry. I don't give a damn. I don't give a fuck about you now. I'm a triple Aquarius. I don't give a fuck about you. I've told so many people, I don't give a damn. I was actually trying to help you, or I was asking for this reason, but forget it. I don't want to know anymore. That's my Pluto retrograde. I do not care. That's why I attract Scorpios. Scorpios don't want to tell you their business until they see that you don't care about their business. And then they want to tell you because they're so private. Baby, I collect Scorpios because they feel so safe around me, but that's the Pluto retrograde. But baby, negative Pluto retrograde, your credit's bad. You owe people a lot of money. You always asking for money. You ain't never paid nobody back. You walk around like life is war, but it's so open. And you're always destroying relationships. And as soon as somebody meets you, they're like, what the hell is wrong with you? Why are you living life like it's war? Why are you so insecure, scared? Jupiter, negative Jupiter. You know what? I'm going to do a whole video on the negatives and the positives of retrogrades. Stay tuned, y'all.